Hey, Ayushman. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, Penguin. Okay, where's my music? Where did my music go? Hello, Memphis. Wait, why is this muted? I muted it probably at some point. Okay, so what's the plan for today? The plan is keep fuzzing. So yesterday we got to a point where I can't find any more crushes with the fuzzer, but we still need to add juiciness to the generator. Also, I'm now using a branch that has some super new fancy fuzzer tech in it that makes the fuzzer much faster. So we can fuzz more basically, which is good. What else? Well, that's mostly it. We also have a few to-dos that we can tackle once we get bored with fuzzing. But first, let's do some more fuzzing, starting by making the generator more complete. So I don't remember exactly what I was missing, but so add new line, go up, push doc type, push comment. To be fair, we should make these way less probable than they currently are, especially push doc type, although they're not really all that problematic at the end of the day. So fuck it, we can leave it there. Or you know what we could do? We could do it like this. But that makes it much more probable that we do nothing. Ah, you know what? Let's leave it as is. Well, see you later, Penguin. Okay. So here's what we want. Push text. Very likely that we push a lorem ipsum. Oh. But with different spacing around it. We never do random text that isn't one of these guys, though. But I think this is fine. Also, I think this is 25, 25, 25, and then 25. I think we need also one with new lines in the middle. Do we even care? Actually, new lines in the middle, we don't care. That's the tokenizer concern. So never mind. We don't care about that. Well, actually, it could trigger something in the renderer, but I don't think that's super important. So that's fine. Push element. What were we saying? One bit to the side if it should have, let's see. Final space, utter count. Okay. So we choose if we should put there a element attribute or if we should put there a global attribute. So that sounds good. Okay, it seems that we mostly did what needed to be done, and really what we're missing is this. It's like intelligent inputs, basically. So if it's a list, then we take a byte and we say, so if the rule is a list, then we can do list dot list. I think it's dot list. You know what? We can go to definition. Can we not? Yes, we can. Go to definition. Go to definition. It has setting completions, right? Oh, so we have completions, then there's also extra. Okay. Something like this. So this is a starting point. This will start choosing entries in there, but we should also do more stuff. So extra can be one of these. Manual we don't care. These ones we do care. So let's do it this way. Switch extra. If it's none, so I think we should say if we take the most significant bit and we use that to decide whether this should be the non case or not. So none. Actually, wait. None means that there is no extra, so there's nothing to do. Then there is not empty, which means that also any non-empty value is allowed. So let's do it this way. If let's see, RNG extra. Well, this is more like RNG, not empty. Although it depends, right? Let me think about it. But it's only one of those at a time, so never mind. Yeah, RNG extra is RNG and 0B 1 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. So we want the highest bit, and we say if RNG extra, then we do the not empty case. And what do we print if it's not empty? You know what? This can be a right hole. Yeah. Missing. Although there should always be a chance, because here we are following the rules, but actually that this is not how it should be. This is a choice that should be done regardless of what this rule says. So never mind. RNG extra, it's more like this. I think we can take RNG and we shift it 6. And there's like 0. We grab from completions. 1. We return. Basically no value. 2. Empty value. And 4, just a random value. So let's do it with also something like this. Yeah. Okay. I mean, to be honest, the length doesn't matter at this point. Actually, the fact that this value being random doesn't matter like at all. Yeah, there's no point in that. Also, this is 3, not 4. 3. Okay, there we go. Let's do the least case. So there we go. Now we will print interesting lists thanks to this. This was way too fast. There we go. We did not save. Of course. I want to put a panic there. Although no, unreachable I think can be left as unreachable. Hey, Blurry Cat. Let's see. Okay. So let's see. We're running. Let's see how this goes. Let's see if this allows us to find any more crash. We could also attempt to introduce a crash artificially ourselves to see how we do in that sense. Also, I'm very happy to report that we are going up in coverage a lot more than what we were doing before. Like a lot more. We're still having, so we're reaching like, we're getting like 900 more hits than we were getting before. But at this point, it's harder to climb, but we are still climbing a little bit. It does take a lot of runs though. Like we're doing 45,000 runs a second, and this is not going up much, which is interesting. Okay, this does not seem to be finding many crashes. How can we enhance this? Well, what are the other rules? There's manual, bool, any, not empty, ID, class, course. The thing is, these ones, making special rules for them is, well, not easy. Although it would make sense because, let me think about it for a second. Well, the real one is that there's non-neg int. This one is interesting. And then there's also URL. But I'm trying to think of things that depend on one another, right? Things that depend on one another. I think I want, you know what? I think I want to do this. Since this is not finding anything, I want to inject a problem and see if we can hit it. So how do we do this? These things are almost entirely based on okay, here's how we fix this. Or rather, we improve on it. I would do it this way. The first thing that we ask is, first, we try to do something to the rule. But this should be like a fallback that applies to everybody. Something like this. Or also being left empty. Yeah, I think it should be this way. We take a byte, we look at 4 bits, and we say, okay, if case 0, apply rule semantically. Case 1, no value. Case 2, this one. Case 3, and actually maybe we can do it this way also. And then in the case of a rule, then we have this. There we go. Apply rule semantically for list. Let's see, for list, this is it. Then what other are the other ones that are interesting? We have non-neg int. Although in the case of this, then we return. Okay. And wait, why am I doing this down here? Oh, this is the fallback. Wait, why are we doing that one? Why are we doing the random bytes input? When are we doing it? I'm starting to get confused. Hmm. Okay, let me comment it out for now. Okay, we have a list. Then we have non-neg int. And in non-neg int, what we want to do is provide integers. So how do we do this? Guess we take another byte. Or actually the one above is fine enough. There we go. These are the values that we put in non-negative integer. Then other interesting cases. Let's see, ID course. Course, I don't remember. Is course like some kind of list? I think there might be some rules about course. Let's see. Custom validation. Yeah, course list. Look at this. Anonymous. And use credentials. Let's do this. That one. Okay. There's also float, I think, somewhere. Really? There's no float? Okay, never mind. Okay, let's see how this goes. Let's let it fuzz for a while, then we can introduce a panic and see if we can hit it. Hello, Manuele. Okay, we're fuzzing. Is there some way to create an in-memory file? Maybe. What do you mean? The fuzzer uses in-memory files. Like, if you're asking this in terms of like a suggestion for how the fuzzer could work, that's how it already works. I'm definitely not writing these stuffs to disk and then loading it. Already previous comments. Oh, sorry. How would I fuzz a file parser? If the file is a binary file and I need SCD file reader since it requires a second bunch. Okay, sorry, I missed that. I'm not sure. I think that a memory map file would work because a memory map file is both things at once, right? It's a file, but it is also memory mapped. An alternative could be that you kind of tweak your function to accept any type. And that's like, how can I say, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to change your code everywhere. Well, I guess it depends on how often you pass that type around, I guess. But if you only accept it at in one place, then you just temporarily switch that to any type, and then you pass something else that fulfills the same interface. But yeah. So here's the good news: we broke the 3,000 coverage number. So the changes that I made to the generator do actually have meaning. They do make us go further beyond. It does make us go further beyond. 3,100. That's not bad. So we're not doing bad, but at the same time, we're not finding any crash. Let's introduce a crash. See how easy it is for us to find it. So here's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna introduce a crash. I want to introduce a crash. You know what? In base, I think we have some weirdo rules in here where we look for other instances of it. Although I don't know where. Oh, there we go. Here we work backwards. And here we say there must be no more than one base per document. Although this is easy. We're going to find it very easy. Let's see, base element, if it has a target attribute, must come before any other elements in the tree that represent hyperlinks. Yeah, let's turn these into panic. So the panic is going to be triggered if we see a base that has a target attribute and above it there's an element that represents hyperlinks, a, area, form, or link. Let's see how long it takes to our fuzzer to find this combination. Okay. It did not take long. Form, not empty, lorem ipsum, header, base target. So it generated a base with a target attribute and where am I going? Generated a base with a target attribute and it put a form before it. And that's got us here. That was so easy. Okay, let's do one based on attribute values. So where do attribute values become interesting? In input, right? Input has a ton of attribute values combinations and what the fuck not. So here's a bunch of thingies. Extra rules for type value. Let's say that we complain if we see type value hidden text search. So if we see type value hidden and autocomplete value set to true. We have hidden in here, or we don't even have hidden in this list, do we? We don't. Okay, never mind. Change of plans. If we see tell with max length 0. What is max length defined as? Not neg int. Okay, tell max length is 0. Let's go. Where am I going? Tell no, okay, let's see how it works. Authors, maybe author, and then we unpack it. Okay. Okay, assert that it's not that. There's no span in tokenized attribute. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's see. So if the value is present and it's 0, we panic. And then I'm going to do another one. If we hit this one, I'm going to do one of the validations in progress. I think we're going to hit this super fast. There we go. We found it. Let's see. Input, tab index, type tel, max length 0. We found it. Real fast. Real fast. Does fuzzing now work in release safe? Yes, it does. It got fixed. Next thing that we do is in progress. In progress, we have rules about max and mean and how they relate to each other. For example, must be lower or equal than max. So if number is greater than max, then we complain. Okay. If true, panic. Yep, you found it. It even still not working x86-64 backend. I'm on a branch. Actually, right now, so you can get this fix in the macOS fuzz branch. Although, you know, it's macOS fuzz, so I actually don't know how that works with other people. Oh, you said with the x86-64 backend. Sorry, also on top of that. So I don't know what's the state on other platforms. With our custom backends, this stuff does not work because I believe it's only implemented for LVM in any case. So, yeah. And also, you do want LLVM. You want your fuzz tests to be optimized. Did you go crazy yet? Not yet. Fuzzing is keeping me sane. We found it. Boom. Alright, that's actually easy because progress with value 4, max when not defined is implicitly 1.0. So, yeah. Also, wait, are these non-negative integers? How are they? Oh, they're manual even. They even have manual stuff. So, interesting. So, you know what's funny? Is that the fact that we got this 4 was not generated because I put in the generator the number 4 as an option. You see that I don't even have the... First of all, the point is that I don't have it in this list, and it's not a non-negative integer. That's a manual rule, and a manual rule means that we don't have structured information about what it can or cannot be. So we basically, this means that we got into that case through this else branch. We got there by doing a random input. Interesting. So, yes. This is good. This is good. So, it seems that we have fuzzed thoroughly enough. It requires libc. No, I should not. So look at how it works. You create a file, or at least that's how the fuzzer does it. You create a file, and then after you create a file, read it through, truncate false, non-blocking, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, you create a file, and then you call mmap, and you give it the file handle. And that creates a memory mapped file. Which then you should be able to write to in memory. And then also read, etc. Okay. So what are we doing? I think we ran out of crashes. It's a little bit sad, but I think we ran out of crashes. You want it backwards. You don't want a file handle memory. You want memory file handle without touching disk. I'm not sure I understand the difference of what you're describing. Basically, that allows you to create a temporary file that doesn't write to disk, that stays in memory. Well, until you flash it, I guess. There's, I'm guessing there's a flash syscall or your process crashes, and at that point, whatever you had in that memory gets also written to disk. But I don't understand what your point is. Your point is that, so to make sure that I understand correctly, your point is that you want to be able to have a temporary file that you keep modifying, reading and writing to, but that doesn't touch the disk. This is what it is. This is what this is. Only reading. Okay. Well, regardless. Okay, where does the data come from? From the fuzzer. By the way, this is literally what that code is doing. That code is literally doing that. You create an empty file, you memory map some memory to it, you paste the fuzzer input string in there, and then you use it as a file. Maybe you need to seek to 0 after that. Maybe, maybe there's a little bit of fiddling that you have to do. But that's that should be it. Okay. So here's my point. We have succeeded, I think. We have succeeded. We are fuzzing super fast. We haven't reached the maximum coverage value. I should probably, I don't know, let this run a full night or something to see if we can hit some more code paths. It is normal for this to not, it is okay for this to not reach 100% coverage because we also have the tokenizer in here and we are purposely not exercising the tokenizer to the max. So that part is fine. That said, the number, to really cover everything, this number should probably be higher, but I don't know exactly what the number is. In any case, this basically prevents, I would say that this state of things guarantees that the fuzzer that the language server doesn't instantly poop itself at random when somebody is using it in their everyday stuff. So maybe there is some more latent crash in there, but nothing too, easy for people to hit, probably. What is unique run now? It's the same idea as before. It's just this is a different way of deciding when a run is unique or not. And I think that, to be fair, this number is more correct than the previous one. Way more so, because if you think about it, oh, look, it found something new. Holy shit, it did find something new right now, and it's like it found a new corner of the program to explore. So the reason why this is correct, that this number is low, is because if you think about it, we are exercising code are about 115 different 115 different HTML elements plus their attributes. And so the number of unique runs through their validation functions, etc., it's not 600, but it's in that ballpark. For example, it is, I would say it's certainly true that we don't have, I don't know, 18 million truly unique different states in the program. It's more like 26%. Yeah, it's because it's 0.3. It's not a percentage. It's a number between 0 and 1. So the percentage thing is silly. Yeah, it could be fixed. But I'm not gonna do now because I'm in a weird branch right now. So I'm gonna work on the fuzzer, but not right now. So I think this number is genuinely good. The fact that this implementation of the fuzzer does recognize that a lot of those runs are mostly duplicated. And the reason why also those are mostly duplicated is because, like, I'm sorry, it's kind of clear in my mind. Maybe explaining it is not immediately obvious, but the idea is this: when you're generating input from the fuzzer and you're feeding it to the AST building function, let's say that you have two divs, right? You have one input that is one div, and then you have a second input that is div, and then another div below, open and closed, both times. So what happens is that these are technically two different runs in theory, but you do want to consider them the same thing because you haven't explored anything new. You have just run through the div parsing code twice. That's pretty much what happened. And so this is what this new system for identifying unique runs is doing. It is realizing that even though it's attempting a ton of things, and what's happening is not exactly the same thing. It's not exactly the same instructions being executed with the same, register states in the same order, start to finish. It is generating things that are runs that are different, but they are not considered different because they loop multiple times through segments that we already went through. More specifically, the way this works is that there's like tuples from instruction to instruction, and those tuples are considered unique, are the unit of what is this considered unique. So if you loop twice through the same thing, it's not counted as unique, and at least in our case, it's totally fair. So yeah, we probably have stress test about 600 different runs where we had where we exercise different validation code, but then that was mostly it. It's not true for all programs if you have some global state. Yes. Yes, but it is also true that fuzzing. So there are techniques that I think account for that, but it is also true that fuzzing in a unit test way is obviously easier. Like, it's what you should be attempting to do. Like, you should try to take your program and decompose it into like testable units that don't rely on global state too much. That said, we do account for global state because if you are consulting global state, it means that you are branching on it. And if you're branching on that, we can observe branches and we can account those comparisons in our metrics for defining uniqueness. So uniqueness is not strictly purely what I just described. For example, AFL has tuples from program counter to program counter, and then it has what they call 8-bit counters, which is, how can I say? It's a count for, it basically, it's something that counts unique instances of longer strings of from to of the program counter. So it counts for how many times we've seen a longer chunk. And so they tend to counterbalance each other, basically. So I think we're not doing bad here. And also you saw, right? Every time I've introduced a crash, we found it very quickly. So can we introduce a crash in a much more nuanced manner? Sure. But the type of crashes that I've introduced tend to be the same level of complexity where a crash could present itself most of the time. But that's it. Okay, so here's what I want to do next. I consider this fuzzing stuff complete. By the way, to be fair, there's still some code that we are not fuzzing that we could be fuzzing. For example, what we could do is invoke auto-completions on the input. So every time you run an input, you can also ask out for auto-completions, and maybe the auto-completion code is the one that has crashes. We are not even touching it right now. So there's another one that we could look into. But at this point, I would maybe consider developing more stuff. I think the order should be this. I want to maybe even, what am I doing? Maybe even this. We should give attribution to MDN in the repository. And then we should try to generate full tags and completions. And also, I just don't know how to fix VS Code. So I think the VS Code might need an upstream patch in VS Code. More specifically, the problem is this. I have HTML suggestions disabled. I'm inside of a body. And here, if I try to do this, it suggests that I should close the body. Also, right, I need to restart this thing. I was experimenting with a change that does not work. So here I do this, and I get suggested to close body. This is not from me. This suggestion comes from VS Code itself, and I can't turn it off. So stupid. So that's bad. And I think that once we implement this, then there's going to be even more fights between us and VS Code. We'll see. Okay. What do we want to do? Yeah, let's give attribution to MDN. So I guess we do it in license. No, we probably need to create a secondary license file, right? Maybe. How do people do it normally? How do people do it? I guess VS Code. I guess this guy here has to do attribution. Let's see how they do it. License. Or you know what? Maybe they just do not do any attribution and they don't give a fuck. Maybe they just don't give a flying fuck. I mean, it's Microsoft after all, right? Why should they? Open, collaborative, flexible. Okay. Okay, bro. What about here? Oh, third-party notices. I like this. Is there any example on like how to add third-party license to repo? Like, how do people do this? And it turns out that the AI overview is the most interesting stuff. It's not licenses, it's notices. And we can just call it notices.txt. Oh, there's also free RD party licenses.txt. Okay, so it's not standard at all. So we can do hx third party notices. descriptions of HTML elements and attributes are from MDN. Which are licensed under CC by SA to v2.5. Oh, or any later version. To write the version for this page, you can write code samples, your contributions. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if this is like the best way of doing it, but at least we're doing it. Quick suggestion, false suggestion, trigger character. Oh. Oh shit, ABC. Oh shit. Well, let's try. HTML suggests basic. I didn't even know that that was a thing. Oh fuck. HTML suggests basic. Maybe we found the solution. Also, VS Code decided to reboot itself. I don't care about updates. Shut up. Basic. Okay, let's see if basic is a thing. It complains. Basic is not a thing. Okay, so basic doesn't do anything. Unless, I don't know, you have maybe like a super old version of VS Code or whatever. But for me, here in this, VS Code doesn't exist. Auto closing tags. Although this seems to be different, I think. We might want to do this as well. But I think this is a different thing. And then we have quick suggestions. Oh, under HTML, you disable those. Oh, you know what? That might be actually it. Quick suggestions. Let me see again. Editor.quick suggestions. Okay, let's see how this goes. No, still suggesting to close body. But here's the question. Does this, well, you know what? Maybe let me try the other one as well. Suggest on trigger characters. This disables suggestions completely. So I don't even see my own suggestions anymore at this point. So this is too much. That one is too aggressive. It's okay. I think this is just a bug in VS Code. I think that disabling HTML5 suggestions should do that. Also, now I have like board settings. uh, God, I have no idea what the freaking option is. I borked my VS Code. There we go. Suggest on trigger counters. That was it. Yep, but now I have also body. So that's not enough. Let's take a look at generate full tags on completions, though. That one is more interesting. So generate full tags on completions. Can you check out an aliasing optimization idea for Zig? Why doesn't Zig optimize this, whereas the C compiler does? Right now, the language permits any aliasing of types with a well-defined layout. I propose instead to allow aliasing side effects in exactly 4 circumstances. Through any two pointers of the same type. One of the aliasing pointers originated from another and is created inside the function that serves the side effect regardless of the pointer type. One of the pointers originates from an integer or a pointer that was cast to an integer. The main point is that it allows this optimization to happen by default. Another important consequence is that too many item pointers of different types cannot alias if they appear as functions parameters as part of parameter structs/unions. Now let's address how the compiler can enforce all of these. I propose to check for aliasing aggressively at the function boundary using liveness analysis. Namely, reject the comp time any attempt to create two pointers of different types that are visible to a function at the creation of its frame or visible to its caller after the destruction of function's frame. Note that UB3EC libraries cannot break the aliasing model outlined here unless done at the API boundary, which is illegal. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have a strong opinion on this. I would be curious to see, to be clear, because I don't work on this stuff. So the question is, what would Mlag and Andrew think, because they are definitely working more on this stuff. They have first-hand experience. I don't know. Let's see. Sorry, let me read more of the context. I know about this thread, but I haven't read the contents. Let's see. I came across this profiling my game. The code looks roughly like this. Self-example, index, decrement a value. And if the value is 0, wait. Oh, decrement a value at this index. And if the value at that index is 0, then decrement fun. Decrement and then test. The compiler produces the following assembly code. Decrement, man, I have to say, I find x86 fucking unreadable, man. But okay. So basically what's happening is that we're loading twice. Is that it? This is a load, right? We're loading into RCX. No, wait a second. This is we're not mutating index, so yeah, and then okay, compare this memory location. Yeah, okay. So okay, I get it. Like we're basically loading twice when we could avoid doing that. I lost the tab. Why doesn't the compiler optimize this? Let's see, mlag replied to deepnin, looks like a bug. Correctly identified that this has to do with aliasing. It's about val pointing to fun. It's about val pointing to fun. No. The concern is val pointing to val through a cast pointer such like this. Val pointing to val. Jesus. So if val is pointing to val, the assignment val 0 minus equals 1 would change the pointer itself. Yes. So that the next comparison has to work differently. Yes. Thus, since for an export function, the compiler has no useful provenance data for any parameters, the optimizer has no choice but to load the pointer again in case that val alias did. Last piece of the puzzle then, why does this not happen in C? The answer is a piece of UB in the C standard library called strict aliasing. This is a form of TBAA, type-based alias analysis. In short, it states that it is UB to use a pointer to A, which actually points in memory to a different type B, unless either A or B is a char type, which is an explicit exception. Yeah, which is also why in C code there's a lot of cast to bytes, even though sometimes a cast to a byte, like a pointer, like a memory slice, becomes a slice of bytes, even though sometimes it would be maybe more convenient to consider that not a slice of bytes, but like a slice of U32s or whatever. But they don't do it because, I guess, of this rule. Let's see. So in your second global snippet, Clang notices that it's an int star star, and the other one is an int star, and so it assumes that that type of aliasing is impossible. Clang and GCC allow using the compiler flag fno strict aliasing to disable this class of optimizations. If you pass that, you will see you get the same code as the Zig case. Okay. One question: values of type pointer to U32. Which expression is modifying a 32-bit value? these things that it's associated with value. Yeah, but you could be just deciding that you want to consider that value for whatever fucking reason, like a higher half and a lower half, so on, and do some bullshit with that. Let's see. It does think that because it literally can. Sure, you would be referring to a 4 byte subregion of the pointer value, but that still acts as the pointer value. Yeah, I mean, you have legitimate reasons of wanting to do that. It's fucky in the context of this example, but I'm sure people do this and worse. Let's see. Zig is generally more permissive than C with regards to type panning. Yep, definitely. Like, this is 100% true. Maybe people haven't experienced this, but let me open this in space. And if you look at, for example, racks, I don't know if I will be able to find what I'm looking for right away, but in racks, there are a lot of operations where this could clearly be a like an easier pointer cast, like an easier operation, but they always have to go through bytes, even though it's unnecessary. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Let's see. I haven't looked at this code for a bit, so I don't remember. I know that it's here. I know that if I had like, if I could pause time, I would pause time what I'm talking about. But I haven't touched it in a bit, so I might not even be able to recognize it. Oh, like this one, I think that this is another example of that. I think that the mem move is another example of this. Yeah, because this would be it. This is a copy. Yep. I think this is the kind of stuff that we're looking for. Basically, it's trying to copy stuff through pointers of different types because it's reinterpreting memory. But they're using memmove because I believe that memmove is a function call that prevents UB from happening if instead they use normal assignments. Let's see. C memmove UB, I don't know. Memmove operates on chars. Yeah. So this is how it works, right? Let's see, memmove. Okay, it doesn't tell us much. In any case, I think that yeah, C has a bunch of these funny things. In any case, C is notoriously strict about this. Only well-defined way to type pun in C is with memcopy, unless it's unless the source or destination type is char, in which case pointer casts are fine as per the aliasing rules described above. Yeah, oh, you know what? I should have read more, but basically Apple is saying the same thing that I'm saying. I mean, he's talking about memcopy, not memmove. I'm guessing it's roughly the same thing with regards to what we were discussing. In any case, this is because he has a somewhat bizarre memory model, which kind of assumes that values aren't actually made of bytes in general. The only thing that I can think of which you might be talking about is the fact that Zig doesn't allow you to use union types for panning. Well, yeah, that. Also the fact that we do a lot less casting, like type erasing pointers. C type erases pointers a ton because they don't have generics. So that might be another reason why people think that Zig is more strict. Zig is also more strict about stuff like const casting, alignment casting. I want to add to this that reworking Zig's rule about aliasing is still one of the big language design areas left. The challenge is to ensure that whatever rules are instead enforceable as cheap safety checks. best tracking issue for this is probably no alias on all parameters by default with debug safety, ability to specify a alias. Okay, I think this was the interesting part of the conversation after your message. Yep. So, well, I guess the question is, did you read this issue? Did it have anything interesting in it? Let's see. Add may alias, remove no alias. May alias valid only on a pointer parameter means may be aliased by global variables or other arguments to this function, which are mutable pointers. Debug safety IR. So this is clearly not going to work with liveness analysis as you described. So yeah, sorry. Right now I'm unable to really reason about these rules and see if I can find like an issue with them or like evaluate how easily enforceable they are. My brain is elsewhere, and also I'm really not an expert. There's a lot of fucky things that you need to think about when working on this stuff, like when evaluating this stuff. So I'm just not up to speed on that. I'm not a language designer, even though I found myself designing a bunch of languages lately. But they're not programming languages in the full sense of the word. They're tiny languages. Yeah, no worries. I would say if you're interested in this topic, I mean, maybe you will get a reply from Andrew. But if you do get a positive reply from Andrew, you know what? He will probably he will probably tell you the same if he thinks that the idea is valuable, which is going to be to just contribute to the discussion on GitHub, because that's where the discussion of this stuff happens. That said, keep in mind that there are directions that Zig will definitely not take. I cannot tell you if liveness analysis in this context is feasible or not, but as an example, if liveness analysis in this context basically ends up boiling down to something as fancy as a borrow checker, I don't think this is the case. I'm just using this as a as an exaggerated example to make a point. If it turns out that this type of analysis is kind of like a borrow checker, Zig will probably never have a borrow checker. If it requires you to introduce like, lifetimes, Zig will never introduce lifetimes. That said, so keeping in mind that there are things that Zig will not have as a language, I don't know. There's plenty of ways of solving similar problems with different trade-offs. So who knows? Maybe your idea is actually what will end up being implemented. So my point is that, discussion is definitely available. Keep in mind that there are maybe some ideas that would solve this 100%, but that would have consequences elsewhere and would require trade-offs that Zig as a language is not going to take. And so it's possible that maybe you are thinking of a 100% solution that comes with a given cost. And then what Zig will go for is going to be like a 90% solution that doesn't have that much of a trade-off involved, like that much of a cost. That said, this is like a discussion under the assumption that we have full knowledge of the trade-offs and possible solutions, which is not the case. So having discussions about this, it definitely helps. The basic idea is to disallow linking pointers having two types. So I'm like, as example, wouldn't compile. Yeah, I did get that. That makes sense. Which is generally preferable to alternatives, for sure. Definitely preferable to UB, still preferable also over runtime panics, for sure. Okay, let's go and generate full tags for completions, shall we? So how does that work? Well, the idea is this. When we generate tags, let's also suggest closing tags. Let's see if we can do this in a smart way. Let's look at the language server specification. Also, it's interesting that they stopped modifying it. This thing is stuck in 2022. Oh, there's a, wait. Base protocol 0.9 upcoming. What is this? Common extensibility pattern from specification. What is this? Header part, content type. Yeah, this is like the main structure. Why is this upcoming? Why are they changing this, bro? It's ass. Don't make it worse. You already made the shittiest possible over-the-wire protocol telemetry. Oh god, they are making it worse, aren't they? Oh, 017 is this. And then 018 is upcoming. Oh. Oh, changelog. Wait. Wait, this wasn't... Am I going insane or this was not in there? Wait, so the last update was 2022, but then they've been collecting new things. Added inline completions support. What's an inline completion? Oh shit! It's what I want. It's actually what I want. Oh, I get it. Inline completions is a completion that doesn't produce like a drop-down menu. It just gets injected in instantly. Dynamic text document content support. Refresh support for folding ranges. Format multiple ranges at once. Support for snippets in workspace edits. Relative pattern support for document filters and output documents. Support for code action kind documentation. Support for active parameter signature help, blah, blah, blah. Toolkits for command. Support for metadata information, workspace edit. Why is this compatible with HTML? Yeah, with HTTP. Yeah, that's how LSP works. It's stupid as fuck. It's because, you know what? I actually don't even know why. It's just stupid as fuck. I don't know. I don't know, man. Added support for completion list apply kind to determine how values from completion list item defaults and completion are combined. Okay. In any case, so I am looking forward to these upcoming language features. Specifically, I am turbo looking forward to inline completions. Where are those? Where did you put them? Dude, come on. Oh, they maybe haven't updated this thing. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go to current, which is what people implement. Completion proposals. Then there's also completion item resolve. Okay, you know what? I've never looked at completion item resolve. Let's see what's in there. A request is sent from the client to the server to resolve additional information for a given completion item. Oh, interesting. And the result is completion item. Oh, okay. So basically what I can do is ask for a new round trip. I think we might be good, but we'll see. Maybe it makes sense, maybe not. What I care about here is the extra stuff. Request completion, blah, 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 reply, response, completion items, completion list. Insert text format, plain text, snippet. Oh, a snippet can define tab stops and placeholders with $1, $2, $3. $0 defines the final tab stop, and it defaults to the end of the snippet. Placeholders with equal identifiers are linked. Interesting. That is, typing in one will update others too. completion item tag. Render a completion as obsolete usually using a strikeout. Deprecated. To be fair, we should mark certain things as deprecated maybe, but fine. Insert text mode as is, adjust indentation. Insert text mode. Consider a line like this. 2 tabs, cursor 3 tabs full. Accepting a multi-line completion item is indented using 2 tabs, and all following lines inserted will be inserted using 2 tabs as well. Completion item label details, completion item. There we go. Completion label details. What's in there? An optional string which is rendered less prominently directly after without any spacing should be used for function signatures or type annotations. I don't know if we care for now, but okay. Pre-select, sort text, filter text, insert text format. Oh, let's see. I think there should be, man, I also wish that this fucking thing was wide enough. It doesn't even resize. So I have to scroll horizontally. I can make this thing wider, but it still does not resize. I fucking hate Microsoft. Why are these people like this? God damn it, man. It's driving me insane. Insane. Yeah, to be honest, at this point, I don't even know what I would need to enlarge. Man, fuck this. Fuck this. You know what? I think I might have these descriptions in here as well. Completion item. Let's see. A string that should be inserted into the document when selecting this completion. When falsy, the label is used. The insert text is subject to interpretation by the client side. For some tools, you might not take the string literally. Yeah, this will complete the prefix. That sounds good. Insert text format. The format of the insert text applies to both insert text and property and new text property. While provided text edit if omitted, it means plain text. Okay, and this guy can be plain text or a snippet. Snippet meaning that the $shit stuff needs to be interpreted. Okay. Insert text mode as is, adjust indentation. So these are the other options that we saw. Text edit. An edit which is applied to a document when selecting this completion. When an edit is provided, the value of insert text is ignored. Okay, so this is an alternative where you're suggesting something more complicated, where you also, for example, delete some stuff. Okay, but that's not what we want. So we don't want something more complicated. We want like I guess an additional edit, maybe. We'll see. Let's see what, I'm trying to understand what my options are. Let's see, the edit text used in the completion item part of a completion list defines the item default. An optional array of additional edits that are applied when selecting the completion. Edits must not overlap. Additional text edits should be used to change text unrelated to the current cursor position. For example, adding an import statement at the top of the file. Commit characters, command and data. That is interesting. I'm actually thinking that we should provide insert text with a snippet value. I'm thinking that we should provide something like this. Div space closing thing like $1 and then $0 like this. I think this is the snippet that we should provide. So you type div, you press something to confirm, and then you go here. And then there's this one. Actually, maybe not even that. Maybe it's just $0. So you write div. So you do the div. You accept this. That produces this. Then you can press, sorry, that produces this like this. Then you can press space, start adding attributes, and then you tab, and the tab gets you in here. Also interesting. Wait, why is this working like this? Why is the tab moving me there? I have no idea what the tab is doing. Okay, I don't know. This is like Helix behavior. I think this is what we should be doing. We just need to do that in an efficient manner. Okay, give me a sec, and I'll be right back and do this work. I'm back. So how do we do this? In element, for each element, we want to generate an array programmatically, like these guys. Or actually, we can make a function for this. Can we not? Yeah. Actually, we can. An inline function. Inline? Comtime self? You know what? Let's look at function completions. Attributes content. There we go. Custom completions. This always produces children. Oh, I just realized something dumb that we're doing here. Fuck. Okay, this is a little bit better. What's the next problem? Oh, no, that's actually good like this. There we go. Okay, so we fix a dumb bug that I introduced. Now, when suggesting content, what we're saying is that value is that, label is slashed, right. Okay, so here we have to do some work for sure, but let's worry about opening tags for now. So anything, all elements is the tag description, and then and then we want also value to be specified. Okay, what are our options here? And then we need kind. Kind is the snippet. Does that make sense? No, it should be like this. Is or rather kind, more like it's either an attribute or an element. Yeah. The question is, are you suggesting an attribute or an element? And then what we do is we don't do this. Kind is element. Maybe we need element closing also. You know what? Let's make this an element closing. Or like end. I prefer that name. Oh no, what happened? My keyboard. End. Okay. That might not be enough by itself. Let me think. Let's do it this way. Const Okay, I like this. Now we need to do this, I don't know, like a bajillion more times. That's annoying. So how do we do it for everything else? Let's get, you know what? Let's start by testing this. Missing start field kind. Oh, right, this kind of thing. Let me comment that out for a moment. Visuals and all possibilities. That's fair. Missing struct field desk element 639. But where's my label? Oh, why is the label slashed? Oh, right, I fucked it up. Okay, that's on me. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so this is really smart now. This does exactly what it needs to do. Like even if there's already stuff in there, then we're good. Although it would be nice if it also tried to take away one level of indentation. That would be cool. So maybe it needs to be a text edit. There was also the indentation thingy, but for now, let's leave it at that. So this is cool as is. Now, what about the rest? The rest is completions can come from anywhere, which kind of sucks. And these completions can also, like these lists, they don't reference pre-existing things all the time, but they should. They should. There should be a list of all completions, and we should be able to pull from that one. I should have done this earlier. I don't know why I haven't. So this is going to be the next thing that we add. Like I'm going to call it all completions. And it's going to be this. Okay, it's either this. Yeah, no, I think it's fine. Either we make an array with everything in it, or we give each element that or we give each element a function for this. I think making an array is probably the right way of doing it. We'll see. Oh, this sucks. How do you do this programmatically? I guess we make a struct type for this. There seems so many steps for no reason. Init, init default, init undefined, init fill. Maybe we init it undefined and then we mutate it. I guess. Or we can just say fields. I think this is the syntax that we're looking for. The problem is that we need to be able to modify this value. Fuck. We need to be able to modify this value. That sucks. Mm. Okay, I think I think I know how to proceed. Let's see. So this is gonna be what does this give us? I guess an enum field, so I've dot name. Okay, with this we have all completions, and each one of them has this value. But then we need to basically replace this anything. What does this anything have? All elements. Right. Oh, that's actually fair. Hey, Goliath. Starting on the Zing website looks great. Thanks. I think instead of this, we should do this. Break content with all completions. Dot values. Wait, is it not all completions? What did I call it? All completions. Yeah. Okay, let's see how this goes. Oh, what's the problem? Anyone array has no member values. What? Really? What are you talking about? Anyone array totally does have values. Oh. There you go. Kind of an important difference. Is Zig the best way to get started with Zig? It depends. If you know nothing about Zig, if you don't like reading a language reference and reasoning about it and do code examples on your own, like, basically you drive entirely on your own how you initially get used to a language. If you don't know a lot about lower level programming and you want something to introduce you to, using pointers, see what can go wrong when you use pointers wrong, that kind of stuff, and you want a smooth learning curve, then yeah, Ziglings is great. It's one of the best ways of getting started. But it really depends on exactly what you're looking for. For example, if you, let's say, come from C++ or Rust, and you're already kind of used to this lower level kind of stuff, and you already read the language reference, and you're kind of clear with the majority of things, then you might try Ziglings and find it maybe a little bit boring because you already know some of the things that Ziglings is aiming to teach you. And so you don't need that smooth of a learning curve. So my point is, like, be aware of that, but then definitely give it a try. And then if you like it, awesome. If you find it a little bit boring, then know that it's fine, and you can move to something more challenging than Ziglings. Okay. We have this. Completions value. Let's try it out. So this is still broken. I haven't wired everything in yet, but let's see what happens next. Invalid format string. Oh shit. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, for T's, yeah, that's fair. F name is already a string. We don't need to say that it's a tag. What happens next? Missing start field desk. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, but you shouldn't exceed the ton of branches, huh? Fuck. The comp time print is not helping us. You know what? This is actually even better. Okay. Okay, so we build. And if we restart, um, then template. Oh, we crashed. Somehow we crashed. That's interesting. This made it crash. But we don't even see anything. Oh, God. By the way, this might have something to do with the stuff that we just added. Because that's a completion. We're triggering a completion in here. We're triggering the completion, and that's killing the server. I don't know why or how. That surprises me. Mm. Oh, I think it's because it's the anything case. Wait a second. Yeah, we're definitely hitting this guy. What if I comment this out? No, we still crash. And we don't see any stack trace, which is annoying. I did something wrong, I think, here. Okay, let's build with Zig 1 so that we can see the stack trace. CPL label 0. We're generating something with an empty label. Okay, there was a train. Jesus. How are we generating an empty label? How the heck are we generating empty labels? Where are we generating empty labels? Wait a second. What the fuck is this? 100, 100? Oh, it's like DD. This is DD, I think. But for some reason, the heuristic of compile log doesn't try to print it as a string because it thinks it's like a hex value or something. Okay. Fine. None of these guys is empty. That's not this. So it means that this guy is fine. It means that the problem is in us generating this. This? But how? Ancestor span source slice. We need a debug print for this. I should not have used std.print. I should have used log.debug. And I think we have filters on. Oh man. Scoped element. Okay. Scoped ancestor 2012 and 2022. What's the kind? It says template. It says template. So what is the problem? And this is also correct, by the way. So I think somehow we're fucking up this thing here. I don't know how, but somehow we're doing it. Oh no, there's an element that has no label or no description. How the fuck do we get there? How, man? How? How does that sneak in? I like somehow I caused that with my changes right now, and I just don't understand how. Well, so this is long story short, like kind of mystery solved, I think. Out of curiosity, is this for some reason that causes the problem? It's one of these things that I changed here that causes the problem, but also I don't know why. Yeah. Okay, it's confirmed. It's this guy. For some reason in here there's something that has an empty label even though it shouldn't. What am I doing wrong? Oh. Oh shit. I know what I'm doing wrong. Of course, I know what I'm doing wrong. There you go. Okay, so we have this now. The next thing that we need to do is tell the thing to interpret this as a how to interpret this as to whether it should truncate it or not. So here's how it works. We can't return this. We need to do a completion list. I'm not even sure that completion should exist inside of AST at this point. Maybe completion should exist elsewhere, but you know what? While we're here, might as well. Pub const completion list. And then we need kind. And it's gonna be, maybe we can even make it a union. So kind is gonna be attribute element start element end open close. And for open, we want also a number. Actually, do we? No, we don't want a number. Oh, never mind. Then it can just be an enum. There we go. And so with this, do we give it a default value? Maybe let's give it a default value for now. We should take it out though later on because we're not gonna need it. Right, because we should fix it everywhere. But the idea is when we do this, we go in element and we go in all completions. And here we do dot kind equals dot element start open. Okay. And in LSP, we say well, what do we say? We say insert text and insert text format. Let me take a look at the values. Plain text or snippet. No, this is not completions anymore. This is completion list. Yeah, something like this. And then is that going to be insert text? Yes. Okay, we should take a look at how this works now. So we have done this for some things. There's a bunch of things, a bunch of types though that now don't match. So we're going to need to fix this. Oh, I also made a mistake. Yeah, this does not go here. Function completions returns an AST completion list. An AST completion list is return. Let's do .items instead of .list. There we go. Although, you know what? These guys should... yeah, it's fine. Content. Children. Oh shit, but this guy is mixed with the other guys. So maybe a completion list is the wrong thing. Maybe this is a property per thingy. Fuck. It's a property per thingy. So never mind. The completion list does not exist. It's a thing that we do per thingy. So this is correct. Okay. And up here we do close. Okay. Hello, Zeno. So kind is there. Blah blah blah. Let's see how it goes now. All right, LSP also needs to be fixed. Never mind, it is completions and then it is CPL. What do you not like? Oh, element start is element open. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Template. Wait, the curlies were never needed all along? I'm dumb. The curlies were never needed. Oh man, element. We never need the curlies, but we do need $1. First time checking out the stream. Hello. I'm pretty sure I've seen some good talks about Zig from you in the past. Awesome, thank you. Well, I'm working on a language server, and this might be this may seem a little bit messy, but I have a ton of validation that I've implemented. So here I have like my test document with a bunch of duplicate ID validation, etc. And now I'm trying to make auto completion behavior to be super nice. So more specifically, I want the auto completion to be smart. And, you know, in not add like a duplicated closing bracket if there's already one. Hey, Seifert, hello. So if the slash is already there, not duplicate it. I have to program it myself. Otherwise, you will get duplicated slashes, duplicated closing brackets, all that kind of stuff. The next thing that I want to do is I forgot to restart, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, I want this. I want this to generate more, and then you can do space href, and then you do tab. I'm not in insert mode anymore. Okay, some of this behavior is maybe a little bit weird in this editor. No, that's correct. Although it's hard to tell because there's also some other code navigation thing going on. Let me try in VS Code. Let's try in VS Code. Okay, so there's one problem with VS Code, and that is that this /body suggestion, that's not from me. That's coming from freaking VS Code, and it's super wrong, but I can't turn it off. It's a piece of VS Code that it's impossible to turn off at the moment. That's so annoying. In any case, let's open a template. I select A. It puts all of A there. I can press space for an access key. And then if I tab, it moves me there. That is correct. That's the behavior they want. But, what if I do this? Then I do this. Oh no, I don't want it to suggest all this stuff. So what we're missing is... Oh, that's the extra bit of information that we're missing. That's why it was supposed to be a completion list, I think. We need a second parameter that lets the LSP know. Although the LSP can do this math itself. Let me think about it for a second. Do plan on shipping this as part of the Zine toolchain? Yes, I mean, this is the Super HTML language server. So Super HTML is a piece of Zine as a templating language. But in this case, what I'm working on is just the language server behavior. And this specifically language server behavior for vanilla HTML. So right now you can download this and make it work. Load it as a language server in your editor for vanilla HTML, and it has a bunch of cool things. Like let me show you some. Okay, so because maybe this example is a little bit convoluted in here, but so here's the first thing that we do. Okay, first thing that we do. Top level mode. There are two top level modes. One is you put whatever element you want, and you're good to go. Also, wait a second. All right, this is not, sorry, the fancy auto-completion selection insertion is not implemented yet in the general case. So that's what I'm working on right now. But in any case, anything is allowed at the top level, literally anything, and it all works. Or alternatively, you put a doc type. And then it tells you, wrong simply sequence, only allowed when top level has HTML. So you also add an HTML. And here's how it works. Oh, we actually should be getting some more errors. Why are we not getting errors from this guy? I was expecting more errors. Okay, there's an error right now that is not showing up, but it should tell you that HTML is missing children. It's missing head and body. I think I did something wrong somewhere. This is, oh, you know what? This is a clear off by one error. Oh, you know what? This is the thing. Wait. This is the thing where I'm not validating the last element. Or something like this. In any case, if you have the doc type HTML thing here at the top level, then this means that you want a full document. And so other top level elements are not allowed because that's when you have a full document, that's how it works. And then here you need to have head. Notice how the auto completion only suggests tags that are correct. You see, I don't have yet I have to type it out. I have to type the full element out myself right now, but you can see that it does not suggest wrong stuff. Then, again, it's not telling us for some reason, but it should tell us, okay, I need to fix this thing that I regressed, but it should tell us also that head is missing a title. In any case, what can you put in head, for example? Let's figure it out. In head, you can put title, base, link, meta, no script, script, style, template, text area, and time. These are the only elements that you can put in a head, turns out. Pretty cool that you now know. Other cool things. Let's say that I have a div. And this div has class. And the class is foo, bar, buzz, and foo again. We tell you, you have a duplicate class. It's a warning and not an error because according to the spec, class is a space-separated unordered list of, actually I don't know if it's unordered or not, but it's a space-separated list of tokens, and they're not required to be unique. Some other elements, some other attributes require uniqueness. This one does not. So that's why that, and so that's a warning. But let's say that you have a couple more, and this one has one has foo and the other one has bar. If I do go to the go to references on foo, the cursor is on foo. I go to references. You see that I selected these two elements. If I go to references on this one, I go over the first and the last div. Then other cool things. Let's say that this div has a bunch more attributes. Space, access key. Also, access key, if you've never implemented it, has a syntax. In access key, you list, it's a list of, let's say, letters, more or less, that basically can become shortcuts for that the browser allows the user to use to navigate, like, form, input fields, that kind of stuff. And it's built into the browser. And the syntax is that it's a space-separated list of letters. So 2 letters in a row, that's a syntax error. I have a parser, like every single language that you have, a tiny language that you have for attributes, I have a parser for. And I give you errors for each and every one of them. They also cannot be duplicated, so you cannot have duplicate tokens. And so I tell you. Next thing is, let's say that we add a few more attributes. Also, ID cannot be empty, so I tell you that. I don't know, auto-capitalize equals, also attributes that have values that are part of a list. I give you the list with definitions, etc. But this line is starting to get long, so you would like to format it vertically. How do you do that? You put a space. If there's a space, any white space between the last attribute and the closing diamond bracket, you save, and you get vertical alignment from the language server. You don't like it anymore. Like, let's say that you take out these 2 attributes and you say, okay, now, wait, I want to go back. Remove the white space, and everything gets pulled up. So, and there's everything. Not only that, for example, did you know that you can put a link inside of... A link is one of the elements that you could put in head. Let's see what's in link. href, rel, cross origin. And so I tell you, invalid attribute combination, href or image source set are required. Okay, let's put href in there. Foo, I don't know. Just wants a URL of some kind. Cool. And then it says, wait, you also need rel or item prop. Okay, rel. What's rel? Rel is one of these guys. Author. Okay, cool. Let me put this in body. Oh, this is not being validated though. Why is this? Okay, I broke some validation. So this should tell us that this is actually wrong. Unless I'm wrong, actually. Maybe author can go in body? No. Help? No. Help should not be allowed to go in body. Okay. I need to fix this validation that I broke. In any case, what I wanted to demo is that when this shows an error, there is actually a combination of values that allows you to put a link in body. And the LSP tells you that, yes, this current combination of attributes does not allow link to be here, but one exists, and it tells you how to get there. Specifically, it's when rel is style sheet. You can put link rel style sheet in body. I think there might be some other way, but that's one, for example. Let's see, that's really cool. I used to mentor at a non-profit code bootcamp, and people really struggled with invalid child elements. Yep, because there wasn't great tooling. Yep, there is no great tooling. The state of tooling around this stuff is abysmal worldwide. It's incredible. Okay, I introduced that regression, but it's incredible how this is state of the art. Literally nobody does what I've shown you now. You can take like paid products like WebStorm. WebStorm will filter out tags and not suggest, for example, div inside of P, but that's it. And it does not encode all the rules about attributes and their values and their combinations and how that sometimes impacts where you can or cannot put them. So, yeah. You get an error in Elix LSP saying Zig standard library directory could not be resolved? No, never. I mean, if you see that error, it's because ZLS tried to run the Zig executable, and the Zig executable had trouble finding the standard library. So my guess is that if you are seeing this error, is because you extracted a copy of Zig somewhere, you copied the Zig executable somewhere else, but you left the standard library files in the original location. So what you need to do is don't copy the Zig executable in like user bin, but do a symlink or add in path the directory where you extracted Zig, one of the two. Don't copy the executable around because it has the standard library files that need to live next to it. Symlinking though is fine too. I remember HTML parsing driving me crazy. I don't recall what it was, but it's where I ran into some part of the spec where the tag didn't need to be closed or opening one tag, close another. Yes, those are called void tags. Void tags are tags that don't require to be closed. Like, for example, meta. Meta is, never mind that it needs attributes to be correct, but like if you try to do /meta, I tell you, void elements have no end tag. And also, here's another annoying thing. People do a lot of confusion because they say, oh, I self-close meta. That is correct /works. No, that's not correct, and it doesn't work. This is a syntax error. You cannot self-close. Oh, this is a bug in Helix. Helix is this head is like overriding this other thing. Let me reduce the number of errors. Oh, missing required attributes content. Content needs square brackets around it. Okay, let me do some fixes. Let's start fixing this stuff. There we go. I use square brackets to indicate the name of an attribute. So yeah, you can't self-close them. It's a list of special tags that just don't only have a start tag and they don't have a body. They don't have a closing tag ever. So yep, there's that. Oof, but that's nothing. Like if you want to validate all the nesting rules, some things are absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I understand why nobody does it, but somebody needs to. Somebody needs to. Okay. So how did I regress this? I think I know where I did this. Is the validate nesting. I think I fucked this thing up somehow. And I think we can actually test this. So this is not correct what I'm doing. This is how it used to work in before. It's not entirely correct what I'm doing, but it will regress certain things. Yeah, look at this. It has restored missing child title. Head needs to have a title inside of it. Body cannot have... Okay, let's do the demo now. Link. Look at this. Invalid attribute combination. href or image set are required. Image attribute combination, rel, or item prop must be specified. Okay, let's do the href stuff. href equals arst. Okay, attribute combination. Rel or item prop must be specified. Okay, rel equals author. No. Invalid nesting under body. Missing item prop or rel with a body okay value. This way of explaining it sucks, but that's how the spec explains it. And a body okay value is stuff like... what was it? Style sheet. A link rel style sheet can go into the body. And so this would be, you know, like foo.css basically. Here's the funniest thing. Style. This is the only thing. So yeah, look at this. Style is not allowed under body. Style is not allowed in the body at all, whatsoever, anywhere. Style is only allowed in head. And yet everybody puts styles in the body and it works. Browsers interpret this stuff, but it's completely against the spec. But the spec is dumb in that regard because they allow you to put links in here. You do style elements, right? That's snippets of CSS. Anyway. So how do we... what did I do wrong though here? So we start from the current node. So somehow we are failing to navigate to our... Oh, we're failing to navigate to our children, period. We're just not navigating to our children. Fuck. There's what it is. If next dot first child idx is different than 0, then break next dot first child idx. God damn it, man. Also, we're popping. We should not pop. We should only pop if we're not navigating inside of it. Let me double check this. Okay, let me double check this. We're at a template element. We navigate inside. We don't pop anything. We are at an element, doesn't have any child, so we go next. Kind is not template because we're still at the last child. So we go up. So we go to parent. Where is it? We go to parent index. Oh shit. Yeah, this is outside. Yeah. So if there is a child, we go to the first child. Otherwise, we do the search, which does not go into children. Yep. Okay. This is the correct implementation. Holy cow, we introduced a big regression. Yep, let's try to remove this. There we go. Missing child body. Actually, there's also another error hidden inside there. Missing child head. Yes. Definitely. The order I don't like though. It should say first head and then body. Can we somehow do this? Body. No, what am I doing? It's HTML. Not generator. Oh, we do put first head and then body. I guess it's Helix that it's showing them upside down. Well, I mean, I suspect that if I change this, I'm gonna fix it in Helix and potentially break it somewhere else. So let's not do that. Okay, cool. Cool. So we are working on generating full taxon completions. I can demo more stuff if anybody is interested. Just ask me if you're curious about something specific. Otherwise, I'm gonna work on this more. So here's how it works now. Everything else that produces completions need to produce completions off of this, off of all completions. It needs to grab them from here as they produce their stuff. So let's go do this. Function completions, attributes, content. If it's custom, if it's simple. So first we fix simple completions. Actually, where is custom? Oh yeah, we do definitely have custom completions for that, for sure. So empty, ensure total capacity. Yes. For prefix. What is prefix? It's a list of kinds. So we don't do it this way. For prefix P, append assume capacity. All completions get P. There we go. Reject overlaps, append assume capacity. All completions dot get child kind. Also here. Okay, so we have moved over some more functionality. Everything that doesn't have like a custom code for producing completion, which unfortunately does mean also this guy. So HTML has custom code for that. But if we do body, body should be normal. And as you can see, we have the smart auto completion now. That's cool. Let's see what happens in VS Code. Now I'm curious. Let's see. This is something with a die for when first learning. Yep, I can see that. Building those kind of systems where you have so many gotchas and nuances to worry about, like parsing tasks generally, I start to use some of the TDD practices to maintain my own sanity. Yeah, I'm not doing a lot of unit testing. Like the main integration stuff can break, like I did break earlier, but it's not something that happens too commonly. So I do use fuzz testing a lot, and that really helps a lot. Okay, let's see. Auto completion in body. What happens if I put A? Oh, good job. It doesn't give me weirdo shit. But you know why it's not giving me weirdo shit? It's because I'm disabling it myself. Okay, we are missing one thing though. What if I modify this and then I want to change this and I'm doing... Oh, this is not triggering an auto completion, really? Well, you see that now I generated some crap. So also area missing ancestor map. Oh, missing ancestor map. Where's the diamond brackets? Area. Missing ancestor. Oh shit, we're not printing missing ancestor in a nice way. AST. Missing ancestor. Look at this. Of course we want the diamond brackets. Okay, we need a way of communicating, of detecting what to do. So I think I'm gonna do this in the LSP at this point. LSP.zig. So in LSP.zig, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do else this. Select insert text. Okay, it's this one. CPL.value. And I think it should be like this. We need to pre-process this. So const insert text is if CPL.value if CPL.kind is .element open, then we do one thing, else it's just V. But I think this is the inner else, and then there's also else null. Like this. Okay. We might as well put brackets, I guess. Something like this, and then be okay. Okay, in this case, what do we do? So if it's element.open, or we can even do it like this. There we go. And now we reclaimed one level of indentation. So if it's element open, we want to do the thing there we're doing in element. It's annoying that we are duplicating this logic, but it's fine. So in this case, it's a bool. Okay. With v slice at 0 dot dot cpl dot label dot len. Okay, let's see. Also, let's test this not in VS Code. Let's test this in Helix. The editor doesn't matter in this case. Here, I'm going to start. I want to put an A, address, etc. And since we already have tags on the same line, we don't touch it. We do not touch it. We leave it there. That seems good. Makes sense to rewrite the loop as 4. There is a slightly nuanced difference between a while loop and a for in this context. If IDX is, you know, if I turn this into a slicing operation, I need to be more careful about the value of IDX than I need to be in this case. That's something to think about. Other than that, yeah, it's roughly equivalent, but who cares? Okay, we have this behavior. So we now generate full tags on completions, and we are reasonably smart about that. So not bad. So we probably want to push our changes to this stuff, I think. So let's fix logging. There's a HTML file in there in VS Code, whatever. Extension TS. We now complain. We now turn off quick suggestions. Is that what we want, though? I don't think that's what we want. Let me double check that, actually. Yeah, until we really know for sure, let's avoid doing that. Fix that. Oh, what did we do here? Oh, minor things. Okay. Completions, completions, completions. Right, we can't commit though yet. We still have more stuff to port over. So we need to go through all elements and see if they have custom content. Also, if I decrease font size, I can see more. I'm going to decrease font size to see if it has. Oh shit, we can't. Even if I make it very small, we can't. I kind of wanted to see if it had like if the content was simple or not. And that's annoying. So I guess we can do content and then dot star and then custom. Is it not custom? Let's do it with element. Well, we know that HTML is like this. Oh, come on. Why is this matching? Oh, there we go. Without space, it matches forward. That makes more sense. So we want content custom completions. Can we do that? Content dot star custom dot star completions. Dot star doesn't include a dot plus. This is a regular expression, is it not? Guess we can do this. Function completions content, that will give us some. I think function completions should give us a superset of this, as long as we know that we stay inside of elements. I think that works for me. Okay, completion content here. We need to make sure that we don't do what I'm doing here. This is element.all completions.get option script template. Everything else relies on simple completions option. Okay. So this has been ported. Audio, video. Source track element all.get all completions. There we go. And then we can do source. To be honest, this is like a nice improvement, honestly. Fuck. Yeah. Okay. Root has its own completions content. Interesting. Um. Oh shit! It's just a doc type. Doc type is interesting. And it's fine. We leave it custom. Dot kind equals dot attribute. Well, not really, but it's okay. um. So yeah. Head. Head does not do anything weird. So okay. HTML. There we go. Element dot all completions dot get head body comp time. Call group. I guess we can do this. Field set. Doesn't do anything weird. Select. Some of these are really funky, so we need to be on the lookout for the very funky ones. This is all based on simple completions. Awesome. Text area has this stuff commented out. Okay, so it used to need this, but then it doesn't need this anymore. Cool. Figure. Nothing weird. Button. Simple completions. Okay, it's entirely based on simple completions, so we're good. Canvas. Let's comment it out. Table. Oh, there we go. No, state. There might be stuff. Okay, it's based on prefix, but we can process this. There we go. Picture. Nah, it's okay. This is source script template. Oh, there we go. Here's the weirdo one. Tags. Undefined. But now we can do this. Perfect. This is all based on simple completions. Span. Ruby. Time. Empty. This one. This is fine. Oh shit. It seems that we're good. Okay, let's look at build errors. There might be some. There aren't. Interesting. Let's see if we fix HTML then. Yep, we did. That's awesome. Cool. This is good for a commit. Although we could fuzz it first. Although we are also not really fuzzing completions, are we? We're not really fuzzing completions at all. We should do it though at some point. I'm gonna do a fuzzer run though, just to make sure. Let's just put it that way. We did change how the AST nesting validation happens, so maybe we introduce the bug there. Let's double check. Well, What do you know? AST229. What? Um, that is interesting for sure. From validate nesting. Oh man, I wish I knew what the input was though. Why can't we see what the input was? I do print this stuff. Why was it not seen? That is annoying. So the fact that intcast is causing is the one causing trouble. We're saying in AST229 in stop. And so in validate nesting, we call stop in one of these guys. Okay, you know what? There's we haven't unearthed some stuff. Now that I think about it, is it stop that we want? No, never mind. We can't call stop in here. But we do call stop in one of those cases, do we not? No, we don't. We do it manually. Okay. So what are we doing wrong? There's something in log.debug, but we might not be printing this. This would be HTML AST. Right away? What's happening? Why is this printing this so fast while it's still building other stuff? I guess the change that I made there doesn't matter, but I wish I knew what happens between here and here. There's some stuff that it's missing. God damn it. Because we do not call stop, do we? We don't call stop in here anywhere. We only call stop in nested validation stuff. So we're validating something when that happens. But this is really surprising. Also, you know what? The fact that this happens, I think, before we even start fuzzing. Because I think this happens even before we fuzz. I think this is a problem then with an empty string. Like the empty string is causing this. Let's double check if that's the case. So while true, I actually generally do not know how I broke this. How the hell did I break this? Out of curiosity, let's see if this we can reproduce easily. Echo empty string pipe super HTML FMT dash. That does not cause a crash. So it's not the empty string that causes this. But then why do we not show what prints there? This sucks. I don't know how to fix this. And I'm actually surprised that this does not even print. Why does this not even print? Should I do log? What if I did this? We're also logging some, we're like logging heavily. We should probably get rid of this, but reach unreachable code. In test runner. Oh, wait. That's why it's not printing. It's another task that fails. Self-closing tag complex example. That's what causing the crash. Okay, self-closing tag complex example. Let's see. Self-closing tag complex example. How is this causing a crash? There we go. Assert element attributes different than manual. Not again unreachable. Oh. Oh. I know why. I get it now. I get now why this is a problem. So when we're validating nesting, we actually don't want to enter these guys. We want to validate them, but we don't want to enter them. So, and now we are computing where to go next unconditionally. And that will get us inside of them, even though we don't want to be inside of them. So how do we do this? Let's do it like this. If next IDX is different, node IDX. Yeah, how do I know if it's different than the current one? Fuck. I need another flag. Oh, wait, we're skipping them. Oh, no, no, no. Wait, I don't need this. Okay, I get it. And we're actually triggering a good assert. Basically, we're saying, well, you know what? We're skipping one of these guys, but one of them has actually attributes set to manual, and so you shouldn't be skipping it. That's what this assertion is saying. It's the 1444, right? Yes, that's it. That is interesting. But which one of these guys is it? Oh, it might be source or track. Wait, why are source or track listed in here? Because they're void. Hmm. Now I'm actually curious. Actually, Zig on field. I mean, this is delightful, but where's my print? H1ISC, right? Yes. So where's my print, man? If we're triggering this assertion, we should also be getting a print. I think that's our deal, isn't it? Why using one instead of the default Zig3? What do you mean? Hmm. I'm weirded out by the fact that we are in theory triggering that assert, but we don't see this print. How is it possible? That should not be possible. I understood what Zig1 means. If you are referring to my executable names, they are not the Zig1, Zig2, and Zig3 of the bootstrap process, but they are instead, well, it's not completely unrelated, but Zig is a build of master branch that I've downloaded with ZigUp. Zig1 is a release fast build of the Zig compiler from source that I made myself. Zig2 is a debug build of the Zig compiler that has, the latest weird change that I made to the compiler. So I'm fuzzing with Zig2 because that's the one that has all the new changes to fuzzing. I'm trying to not build with Zig2 when I don't have to, because it's not a release build of the compiler, so it's super slow. And so I use Zig1, and also Zig right now for me is 0.15, Zig1 is 0.16. So depending on which one I use, I will get different behavior because I have switches for Zig version in my code. I'm freaking out. This stack trace seems fair, but my print is not happening. How is my print not happening? Okay, I'm gonna make it even more unconditional. I'm gonna do it up here. Oh, I already have it. Validating node index. Wait. You know what's going on? We're just not picking up. Oh my god, that's on me. we're just not picking up the changes in the logger. That wasn't me. Yeah, validating 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. Fuck, where's my other code though? Okay, I need to put it here. Okay, show me. What is it? What is the naughty element? SVG. SVG? Well, fuck. It has to be manual though. That assertion was trying to protect me from doing the wrong thing, but this has to be manual because SVG has a bunch of attributes that are specific to it, I think. Okay, yeah, we need to delete this assertion. This assertion does not work. It was too aggressive. Man, I finally found what was causing it. In any case, well, good job on our test infrastructure because it caught it. And you know what? I think that now that I think about it, we were actually we gimped like we nerfed by mistake validate nesting, and so that probably prevented the fuzzer from exercising a bunch of code paths. So you know what? We are now going to get more coverage than before, a lot more, and potentially we're going to get crashes. So this is actually very good news. Give me more coverage, give me more crashes. Let's see if we go past 3,000 of coverage. And, you know, how easily. Also, we got to 600 runs earlier. I think we're going to go past 600 now. If I think about it, the fact that we had that thing disabled, we probably, I don't know, I think we can aim for like 800. The question though is like, how long will it take? Because it's clearly not being instant. It's not bad, but it's not instant. 46,000 runs per second is actually a really good number. The problem is that this is also single core. If I could use all my cores, I would be able to go like 10 times as fast. I could do 470,000 line tests per second, and that would allow me to get way more coverage way quicker. They're doing snapshot fuzzing. Wait, what? What's snapshot fuzzing? There's a snapshot testing and there's fuzzing. They're different things. I've never heard of snapshot fuzzing. So that would be fuzzing. Is it fuzzing and then you use your snapshots as your corpus? But even then, that does not seem a good idea very often. It can be, maybe sometimes, but not. Is when you take a snapshot of the program at some point so that you don't have to run the entire thing again next time. Understood. No, I'm not using snapshots, but I'm doing a form of, let's say, unit testing fuzzing. So I'm not fuzzing end to end. I'm fuzzing. So previously I was fuzzing the tokenizer in isolation, and now I'm fuzzing the parser in isolation. And the way I'm isolating the parser is using a generator. So I have an HTML generator that takes input from the fuzzer and has these operations: add a new line, close the current element, push a doc type, push a comment, blah, blah, blah. And so basically this makes me generate mostly valid HTML, not entirely, but mostly, or rather mostly, sorry, I should say mostly valid tokens. And so that produces more interesting trees that HTML trees that stress the parser more than just crashing on the tokenizer every single time because you have just a malformed HTML all over the place. So I've tested the fuzzer in isolation, sorry, the tokenizer in isolation, so without the parser, just the tokenizer, and now that it doesn't crash anymore, I'm basically trying to isolate the higher level logic. So yeah, we're now getting more coverage. We're now seeing more things being covered. That's good. I went into rabbit hole with this VS Code thing, but HTML is so fucking integrated with VS Code. Yes. ABC, sorry, maybe I should have pointed it out explicitly earlier, but just so you know, there's an issue here. Oh, you know what? I didn't link to it, but I know where this stuff is in VS Code. More specifically, it's not in VS Code. It's in VS Code HTML language service. This is an extension of VS Code, like a separate one that they pull in. And the curl-p code, like this is where for example, if you grab the VS Code code base for using HTML suggest HTML5, you will see that there's like no hits because nothing reads that. And that's because the code is in here. So in here, if you do services, HTML completion, here you will find the code for completions. For example, you know how it's tragicomic how VS Code keeps suggesting to close tags even if they are closed? It's because this code here is designed to only check for open elements upwards. And it produces this list of things. What's the problem though? That basically by turning off suggest HTML5, you end up disabling this. Basically, I think what happens is that data providers ends up being empty. And so this whole thing it becomes a no-op because there are no registered data providers. But unfortunately, collect close tag suggestions is run unconditionally. And so this crappy function runs no matter what and produces garbage. And yeah, and then it also looks for that in data providers apparently, but yeah, I guess this stuff just gets turned off, so that's good. But this is unconditional. This shitty thing here is unconditional. So this is what would need to be changed. And then VS Code would need to pull in a new version of this. I'm fairly confident that this is how you fix this. Although it sucks. Maybe I should also send a link, huh? So yeah, we're covering more. That's good. We're not covering a ton more though. That surprises me. That definitely surprises me. I guess the reason why we are not doing a ton more is because we were probably, well, what was happening, I guess, is that we were ending up putting more elements at the top level. And like every time an element was put at the top level instead of being nested, and that would trigger one validation of it. So that's why there's not a gigantic difference. Hey, Cat Barker, thank you for the Prime sub. Thank you very much. Thanks. So I think that this is a pretty good result. We have implemented a good chunk of good functionalities. We need to fix VS Code behavior before we can make a release, I think. Or rather, I guess we can release HTML, Super HTML for everything except the VS Code in the meantime. We have, I think we are getting at a point where we can make a release and then, just let new updates trickle in as they happen. I think we are finally getting at the end of this gigantic piece of work here that lasted like more than a month. And if anybody is curious what my next project is going to be, I think I want to work on the fuzzer. And I think that the next thing that I want to work on is make the Zig fuzzer multi-threaded. Obviously, right? I mean, that's the next thing they want to do. Like, you see that right now I'm not maxing out CPU utilization. It's because it's just one core. I mean, you see it's spread out because it's jumping around, I'm guessing. Plus maybe other stuff going on. But we could do a lot more. We could do way, way, way more than what we're doing right now. So, yep. In any case, I'm going to let this guy run a little bit more, but I think this is it for me. So I think I'm going to call it a day. So, yep, thank you all for hanging out. And who knows, maybe the next time I'm going to stream. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. We'll see. Actually, no, definitely tomorrow I'm not, because there's a Zig Day. I'm going to be participating at a Zig Day tomorrow. By the way, for people who care about this stuff, check this out, Zig.day. So tomorrow there's going to be a Zig Day in Bristol in UK. So I think you're still on time. If for some reason you live around there and you can go, you're still on time to RSVP to it, I think. At the same time, interestingly, same day, same time, there's going to be one in Milan. This is the one that I'm going to. Milan, Italy. Then a few days from now, there is, let's see, not this one yet. I'm going to show that one after. But there is Portland, Oregon. So different part of the globe, but September 27th. So, a week from now, more or less, there's another one. This one has Andrew. So, if you're in Portland and you want to meet Andrew, that's one way of doing it. Then there's Kitchener-Waterloo, October 18th. So like a month from now, more or less. Yet another area. So this is Canada, next to Ohio, right? Yep. Well, maybe, I mean, it does touch Ohio, but maybe I should say next to New York, or what's the one up here? Michigan. Yeah. So, yep, these are the Zig days that are happening right now. I think none of the other one. Oh, right. And also on the 27th, interestingly, also same day as the Portland one, there's going to be Zig Day New York. There's so many Zig days happening at the same time. I lose track. The one in San Francisco has existed for a while, but it lost its organizer at some point. So, but now it got a new organizer. So this also is gonna happen soon. Los Angeles doesn't have anything scheduled yet. Stockholm is also super new, doesn't have anything scheduled yet. But yeah, so there's a bunch of Zig days happening, and tomorrow I'm gonna be in the Milan one. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out, and I think I'm gonna call it a day. So see you all next time. Bye bye.